and I saw a picture of myself, and quite frankly, I was disgusted. I looked at myself and thought, what an absolute whopper.
Welcome back to the Lose to Win podcast with myself, Josh, and Ben. Unfortunately, no Jack this week, but we do have another guest. Please welcome another Super Blue, Oli Wentworth. How are you, mate?
Hi, evening, gents. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, yourselves.
Very
Yeah,
good.
very good.
Good evening. Good hello. Welcome everybody back to the pod. Great to have another Super Blue on this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you count Dan. I mean, I'm not sure
if you count Dan, of course we count Dan. I wasn't here when Dan was on, so but it's great to have not only a quadruple winning teammate, but my superstar vice captain, Oli.
Yes, indeed. I didn't forget you were vice captain, Ollie, I promise.
yeah, I'll let you off, mate. It's fine.
Yeah. No worries. How's your week's been, lads? How are we feeling ahead of this Friday?
Well, I've been pretty good. Back on the wagon after my little Christmas blip. Managed to drop a kilo last week, so that was good. Hoping for another one this week.
Good.
Yeah, so Ollie, of course, is still in last man standing, and I'm sure he'll be down this week. He's after the elusive 30%. Are you going for 30% now or 25?
25 makes the next one. Yeah, it's, I'm still feeling pretty good. It's slowing up a little bit, won't lie, but it's still all going
bound
in the right
to,
direction.
mate. Yeah. When you've lost how many kilos? 35 kilos?
No, 34. Yeah.
There you go. When you've lost 34 kilos, mate, it will slow down.
Yeah.
But wow, what about that? 34 kilos.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. Well, we'll come back to that in a bit, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't. It's
bonkers,
normal to slow down, isn't it? As you
yes
get closer as well.
So the amount of calories you need to consume.
You actually need, it gets lower and lower, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
until you get to the point where you can only eat lettuce leaves and drink water.
I bloody hope not.
Last time I checked, I'm not a rabbit, so
no. But you are a shadow of your former self, literally. Madness. Great work. Fantastic work. But you can tell us all about that in a bit.
Yeah, indeed. We'll start, though, if you don't mind, with the roundup from last week.
Let's do it.
So we're still shaking off the post-Christmas hangover, with several players making their return having missed previous week's weigh-in.
Mm-hmm.
Despite a handful of big individual swings in the wrong direction, we're getting back on track anyway. So
good. A
small loss of 5.8 kilos across the league represents a turning of the tide as such, and a purposeful stride into the new year. 44 men lost weight this week, which is a much better performance than the 5.8 kilos suggests overall. So there must have been some quite close ones.
Yeah.
All 10 remaining players in last man standing managed to lose weight. 2 or 3 of them by the skin of their teeth, but even so, that's very, very good going. So all 10 scored a bonus goal apiece. Nice. So just a quick run over of the team results. The Greens won 13-6 against us Blacks, taking another stride towards the league title. Oranges keeping step with them by winning 11-9 against your Super Blues.
They did.
Last week, yeah. And Yellows beat the Reds 11-7, and Whites lost another close one, 11-9 to the Purple team. So with just 3 weeks to go, the main league title the race is kind of narrowing. Greens have a 4-point lead, with only the Oranges now capable of catching them.
Mm-hmm.
So Scales and pitch leagues are much closer, with Greens just 1 point ahead of Orange on the scales, while Blues and Purples are tied on 25 points on the pitch, etc.
Nice.
With Oranges, Yellows and Reds all close enough to snatch it with a late surge. So that kind of puts us as Blacks out of it, but we knew that going in. No excuse, I guess. Even so, you don't want to get complacent, do you? You come towards the end of the season when you're not really in anything. But I don't see that with us. I don't see that with our team at all.
No, that's good.
So that's a really good sign.
I feel like it's much closer this season.
Yeah,
I know Greens have absolutely smashed it from a weight loss point of view, but I think the league as a whole has been much closer, much more competitive, and I think more teams are in it for longer. If that makes sense, I know Greens have kind of gone away with it, and they're most likely to win. They haven't won it yet, of course, by all means, but they are in the kind of pole position, and that I think they only really need to win one more, don't they? Because their goal difference is so good. Oranges would have to
potentially.
Yeah. So that's, amazing. They've absolutely smashed it, and I don't think there's any denying that. But they've proven that the way to do it is by losing weight consistently. That we're doing very well on the pitch, but we haven't done it on weight this season, and that's kind of how you win the thing. So hats off to them. They've done fantastic. But like I say, hats off to everybody. The Whites have made a late surge after their rocky start. Purples have done really well. They've done, as a new team, a really new team. They've done really, really well this season, both on pitch and on weight. Oranges are doing well. Yellows dropped a little bit, but they've still got great performances in there. So I think it's been real positive.
So with just 3 weeks to go, by the way. I've already mentioned that. Apologies. I'm going to have to cut that. Or I might not now. This laughter. Anyway, the race for individual honours. That's the part I really want to get to.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Green's teammates Tim Winrow and Ravnath are tied on 14.5 for top scorer, with Dimmy and Ryan Puttick just behind on 14.
Wow.
Tim, Rav, and Dimmy are all within striking distance of another milestone before the end of the season.
They won't be able to hit it this season, though, will they? I think Tim's already hit 2, isn't he? And Rav.
Yeah, they both have.
Yeah. So it won't
maybe.
Count. It won't count until next season if they do that.
Oh, Steve didn't mention that to me. I forgot about that, to be honest.
It'll
that's
roll
not
over.
Steve's fault.
That is a bit of a killer, though, because if they do hit that rolls over to the first week of the new season. So if Rav and Tim hit another milestone this season, whoever's playing Greens on the first game of next season is going to be 6 goals down straight off the bat. From 2 bonus.
Yeah. I'm just thinking though, does it like not count in any way? As in, so they won't get 3 points. Yeah, so they won't get the 3 points for their team. I was just thinking, would they get the 3 points for their top goal scorer but not their team?
No, I don't think it does. You can only hit 2 milestones in a season, regardless. But then, then the next one it carries into the next season. So you'd get on the first game of the next season, you'd get the 3 bonus points for your team, and you'd get the 3 bonus points for your individual score. That's my understanding. I might be wrong, but I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed, we're not playing Greens next season on the first game.
Yeah, well. We'll find out. Those 3, anyway, are leading the race for biggest loser as well. So 12.67% for Tim, 11.24 for Rav, and 10.22 for Dimmy, respectively.
That's bonkers.
5 other players have lost more than 8% of their starting body weight this season. So I wonder if one of them is here today. I don't know. I can't remember.
I'll be honest.
He'll be able to tell you.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, maybe not this season.
I had a holiday.
Fair enough. Yeah. No milestones this week, but 12 hat tricks. So again, I apologise. I won't read you all out, but fantastic going. With 3 weeks to go, everybody has the potential to notch up one more hat trick before the end of the season. Yeah. So, as Steve mentions, that's a gauntlet thrown down, so he's expecting everyone to pick it up and rise to that challenge. It's an incredibly strong team of the week, led by our new boy Sam Denton, with a hefty 2.8 kilo loss.
Well done,
Matt
Sam.
Young is the only player to retain his place from last week, having weighed in jeans. He turned up and weighed in jeans and still
this week?
losing. Yeah.
How is he losing so much weight? There's nothing to him.
And he still lost 2.3 kilos.
Good
Lord.
So,
and he didn't play. He just came and weighed in jeans and didn't
commitment.
Play.
Well done, Matty.
Yeah, that's mad. That's fantastic. Fantastic performance. Honourable mentions, though, to 2 players who miss out despite losing more than 2 kilos. So Chris Cowan, another cracking debut from a newcomer, and brilliant. Michael Burt each lost 2.1 kilos.
Brilliant.
So
brilliant.
The team of the week. Sam Denton at the top with 2.8. Then we have Greg with 2.7. Jamie Crispin with 2.5. I think he's a new player on the Reds.
Nice, Jamie.
And then we have Bill coming back with 2.4 kilos.
Well done, mate.
Matt Young, as we mentioned, 2.3. And then Gareth, who still continues to lose weight with 2.3.
Gareth's another one. How's he done 2.3?
Good Christmas.
I don't know. We should all be asking them.
People are literally vanishing in front of our eyes. It's amazing. Fair play, lads. Well done.
Absolutely phenomenal again.
Yeah, crazy.
All in all, it's a much better week anyway than the 5.8 kilos suggests.
Well, that's a bit interesting, isn't it? Hang on, just a sec. We lost 5.8 as a group, but on the team of the week, there's people losing 2 kilos. So there must be people putting on quite a bit.
Yes, obviously to balance it out, but I don't know, because that'll be a select few individuals rather than a club. Does that make sense?
And I think because it was the second week back as well, there would be some, as you said, some people that hadn't weighed in after Christmas.
Who came back,
yeah, that's kind of that's a bit of a Christmas weight rollover, isn't it? Yeah, fair play.
Yeah,
this week will be different. We'll be back up to the sort of 20 kilo mark, I reckon.
Yeah, I hope so. In this form, there's no reason for us to not push on and reclaim the ground we lost over Christmas before the end of the season anyway. This can still be a record-breaking season for the club. And more importantly, a huge step forwards towards a leaner, healthier future for everyone involved. So 3 more weeks, and all we can do is just push ourselves that little bit further.
Yeah.
Make them the best we can.
And then get ready for the 3rd season in this rotation.
Indeed. Yeah. And before you know it, we'll be changing teams again.
I know, that's happened quick, isn't it?
I know, it does feel quick, doesn't it?
I think as Christmas has come in the middle of it, it does feel like this has gone quick.
Yeah. Just trying to think, what would that take us to? So that's 17 weeks away, is that correct? 18 because of a friendly week?
Yeah, there'll be the friendly week after, and so that's the presentation week. So there's a month, there's 3 months, it's 4 months, isn't it? So when will that take us to? May? End of May?
Yeah. Into the sunny season. Oh.
Yeah.
And to be playing into the heat. Oh, I can't wait for that. Not going to lie.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. No sweat out of their weight.
Yeah, it's not even that. Just we won't have to go there in like 4 layers and stand on the sideline shivering. That's all.
It's going to be cold this week. Oof.
Yes, well, that's why I've got an extra. I've been wearing. Was it really? I've been wearing 2 thermal layers underneath my shirt. Yeah, in the recent days. Yeah, playing. So, it's working a treat at the moment.
Fair play, mate. Fair play.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's pretty good. So, good roundup.
Yes. End of the roundup. We do have a guest here, though. Oli, sir.
Hello.
Normally, this is the part where Jack would be here and we'll go into some kind of icebreaker questions for you. And today's no different, but unfortunately, someone slightly less eloquent who's going to ask you the questions. So,
don't be harsh on yourself.
First things first. I was just being nice to Jack.
Fair enough.
Thank God he's not here. We can be mean to him.
So basically, we start off and we're going to ask you. So, get to know you a little bit better. Football related, then. So, firstly, have you got a particular team that you support? Kind of.
Here we go.
Just trying to think.
Yeah.
Go on then, Ollie. So let's crack off there because I already know. I've been told now, but I didn't know this.
No, I have indeed. I'm a Man United supporter for my sins these days. Yeah, I have been for many years.
What's the reason in there, then, mate? How come you follow them?
So I won't dig anybody out, but I was born in Manchester.
Oh, fair shout. A proper mank.
Yeah, I lived about...
Not like me, yeah.
Yeah. Josh is like quite a few Man United fans, to be fair.
No one lives in Manchester.
I was born about a stone's throw from the stadium in a place called Gores Hill. And we lived there till I was about... I think I was almost 7, and then we moved down here. So I wasn't there for a massive amount of time.
Fair enough.
But fair
enough.
Yeah,
that's legitimate. We'll accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will you accept the fact that my granddad was from Manchester, and he was a massive Man United fan. And then my dad was a massive Man United fan because of that, and he was in the south. And then
that's fine. If it's passed down through generations, that's acceptable.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Anyway, I'm not a true Man United fan or a true Bournemouth fan. I'm just not a fan of anything, according to many people.
You're just a fan. You're a fan. You're a fan of football, Josh. That's what it is.
Yes, I am. Actually, that is true. I am a very big fan of football.
Yeah.
Anyway, so have you got a favourite player or a favourite memory with the club, mate?
So, I probably have two favourite players. In all honesty, neither recent players. One is the mighty Ole Solskjaer.
Oh, nice.
All right, yeah. Bet he loved it when he was a manager then.
Yeah. Mate, it was the hardest time of my life, I won't lie. He was good. Yeah, and the other one's Bex.
Oh, well done.
Oh, yeah.
We've been waiting for someone to say Beckham.
David Beckham, I remember, we'll link it into my probably favourite memory. There's probably two, to be fair, from both players. One of them being the treble-winning goals that came in from Oli himself.
Yeah, probably. Fantastic. Yeah.
For me, that's why he goes down as probably one of the best substitute players ever.
I would. Yeah.
And then the other one has probably got to be, I remember when I was about 8 years old, give or take, been sat in a pub with my uncle, my granddad and my dad when we watched David Beckham score from the halfway line against Wimbledon.
Nice.
And that was was sort of, for me, the icing on the cake. I remember I was in awe watching it. That I was at the age where I just started following Man United. It was a big thing in our house. My uncle and my granddad were season ticket holders, and it was a cult following within our family, Man United. So at that age, and I just started getting into it. Just started following it, watching some matches, and I remember watching that goal and thinking, "Who's this player?" Like that was it for me with him. Ever since it's I never stopped following him as well as Man United really. He was always a big one.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about how much of a superstar he is, how he made himself outside of football. But people also forget just how damn good a football player he was, and also just how his work ethic and his professionalism. Which got him to be as good as he was. You know, because he was slightly overshadowed in that department by people like Roy Keane and who came in, and Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes and all those people like that who were renowned for working very hard. Gary Neville, who worked very, 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 very hard. So I think next to them, he looked like he didn't put any effort in, and
I think the trouble was
to kick a ball well.
Yeah, especially with Bex. You watch some of those players. Gary Neville's a prime example, but Bex was naturally talented player. He was a very talented player from a very young age. And more recent people would have watched obviously the documentary, and he was a very naturally talented player. Whereas like Gary Neville had to grind and work hard, so they got the credit for that. Whereas Bex never got the credit for being having that work ethic that he did. But he was unbelievable. Like I watched him live when he played. I was lucky enough to watch him play for Man United at Old Trafford several times.
Nice.
And he people say, "Oh, yeah, but anybody can ping a ball like that." They can't. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody can kick a ball like he could. Even to this day, I would put that down. He was just a different player altogether. Like you say, he was a global brand as well. That was the thing with Bex, and a little bit of that I think overshadowed, and that's what people remember him for rather than his footballing etiquette, if you like.
Yeah. Do you know what though? He did that on purpose, didn't he? I know. Obviously, I've seen the documentary, but I've also followed Bex my whole life really, because we're the same. We're the same age. In fact, I think we're about a month apart. And obviously I'm a massive England fan and always followed his progress. But watching the documentary, he says the reason he was doing what he was doing was because he could see a life after football, and he could see there was more to him and more to what he wanted to achieve rather than just football. So he was thinking about that all the way through his career, actually. So he was clearly quite switched on, and and clued up to how he saw his progression through his whole life, really. So you've got to give the guy credit. I mean, they used to rip the piss out of him, didn't they? With the way he talks, he was talking like that.
Yeah.
He's all a bit sick. But he is totally switched on. And I totally agree with you, mate. Unbelievable footballer. One of the best dead ball players certainly England's ever seen.
Yeah.
Some of the goals that he scored, not just for Man U but for England as well, unreal. They'll never forget that goal he scored to get us to the Euros
free kick against Greece. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in a pub when that happened, and it went off.
Yeah.
It went bananas, and it was just those fantastic memories for me as well. So yeah, Beckham all the way, mate. I'm with you, buddy. Yeah. Nice.
No, fair enough. Have you got another generic memory of Man United that you cherish surrounding Man United?
Mine's probably I met Eric Cantona when I was, I couldn't tell what age I was. We were still living up there, so it must have been 6, 7, something like that. And they just finished playing a match, and they were coming out of the stadium, and my old man or my uncle, whoever was, not working, we always used to go up there when they weren't watching the game. They always used to take me up without fail every single week, go and stand outside the stadium and watch the players come out. And I remember this one week in particular, the weather was hideous, absolutely hideous. And I'm stood there, piss wet through, waiting for them to come out. There were still crowds, but it wasn't like it was normally, because some people don't go out in the rain. And I just remember being stood, and I was stood right at the front of the bar, and my uncle shoved me in the back. He just goes, get to the front, push me into the railing. And as he pushed me, the railing sort of went, and this security guard went, they got a bit uppity, and Eric Cantona was walking past at that exact moment, and he just went, no, leave him. Comes over and was just like, asked me if I was okay, and we had a picture with him.
Nice.
That's
a pretty good memory. I'll be happy with that.
I've got that picture to this day up on my wall.
Brilliant.
My wife hates every minute of it. And I'll tell you now, it's never coming down. That was probably that's probably one of my fondest memories with, without the obvious of, the treble winning sides and, famous goals and, such like.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, that's
he's one
that's
person.
A cool story, then, mate.
When you go on about people you quite like to have around to dinner, I think Cantona's got to be there, hasn't
he? Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I bet he's got some stories.
Yeah, he was always really. He was a favourite player, but he's one of them. He wasn't around long enough. For me, it was.
Yeah,
like I say, Beck's had that lasting impact for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough, mate. Well, I don't want to go into Man United chat too much, but I do have to ask you how you are with the current, how you feel about the current team
Everyone
and situation.
Everyone go grab a cup of tea.
I did ask Charlie this last week. I know it does feel like deja vu, but I have to ask.
I have mixed reviews. In all honesty, I listen to the pod every week, Josh. So I hear you say what. I'm a little bit on your wavelength with the whole thing. I think I genuinely believe Ten Hag is the right man for the job. I really do. But there is such a core problem. I'm hoping, with the sale going through and everything, it will solve the problem. There's been such a core problem within that club for so long with regards to the recruitment, the running of everything. It's just been wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not, at the end of the day, there's only a certain amount he can do. He's a manager at the end of the day. He's not a, global finance director or a football director. He can only work with what he's got. And I genuinely believe we do have some talent in that team, and we do have, prime example I always say, I've had this conversation with my mate the other day, that I think Rasmus Højlund is as much as we've overpaid for him, I do think he's a great bit of business.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I say this. I've said this a few times as well. He hasn't scored much, but in Champions League he did all right.
Yeah,
but it's
what we've got to remember. What we've got to remember is as well, we're relying on him at the moment. He's still young. He's still fresh. We haven't got an experienced striker. You can't count Martial out because I'm not being funny. I could do a better job than him.
Could, mate, to be fair.
This is the problem. Sorry, going back to it, but this has been the main problem for years and years and years. in that club is we've got people like, why has Martial been given an contract year after year? Do you know what I mean? Why is he still at the club? And that's been the fundamental problem.
He outlasts every manager, basically,
which is
doesn't he?
Absolutely outrageous. When you look at it.
Yeah.
But I do think there's the stem of some good things to come. I really do. It's just going to be a bit of a rough ride for a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got stats. Yeah, I've got some stats for you in the Højlund thing, by the way, just to give you an idea for his lack of service rather than his ability.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the top 5 and then where Højlund is in terms of shots on goal this season.
Yeah.
So Salah, 65 shots with 50.7 accuracy, 50.7% that is, sorry.
Yeah, nice.
Ollie Watkins, 56 shots, 44% accuracy. Solanke, 56 shots, 41%.
Nice.
Haaland, 54 with 55%. Nunez, 54 shots with 44%. That's the top 5. Højlund, 27th. He's had 20 shots on goal.
Yeah.
And 50%
played about 5
accuracy.
Minutes,
well,
not
really, but 20 shots with 50% accuracy. He's there because
that's not bad, is
of
it?
the service, not necessarily how terrible he is in front of goal. His accuracy's up there. He's just
I totally agree with that. He is a classic old school number 9. He needs. I hate to go back to him, but he needs a David Beckham on the right hand wing to ping those balls into them.
Yeah.
Having Anthony, who, less said about him the better. And you've got Rashford, who's a right-footed striker playing on the left. All he's ever going to do is try and cut in and shoot. That's all he's ever going to try and do. It's not the dynamic of that doesn't work at the moment. But again, we haven't got the players there in the right positions. Again, it's just time. It's going to take time, and I'm not one of these that's going to Ten Hag needs sacking because that's just nonsense, quite frankly.
No, I think I'd be pretty happy if Ten Hag outlasts most of the squad. I'd be thrilled.
Yeah,
that's because that's Bruno. What I'm hoping will happen.
What is everyone?
Even Bruno.
Everyone's
but I love Bruno.
Beating their bonnet about Bruno at enormous.
I'm just poking the bear. That's
I
all.
love him though. I love him honestly.
I have mixed feelings about Bruno. I won't lie, but I'm not.
Yeah.
All it is his petulance that annoys me. That's all it is.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I do agree when Jack brings it up. I know he likes to poke me about it, but I do agree with him. Don't get me wrong. But I just think that's a small price for what he can do. And
I agree.
I'm not worried about that.
No, I do agree with that. He's never going to get dropped out of that team, let's face it.
Anyway, enough Man United. Do you want to talk about QPR just to balance it for a little bit?
Do you want me to? Is anyone interested?
We need a chuckle.
Well, I can always cut it. You could just talk about it, and then we'll.
I will quickly say we didn't go into the Bournemouth QPR FA Cup match. And I was busy actually, so I didn't see it. I was driving up the motorway and realised when I got there, all of a sudden we were 2-0 up, which was quite nice to see. But I was faithful in my understanding that we would definitely lose that game, and lo and behold, we did. I think Bournemouth made a couple of changes and sent some of their sort of first string players on and sorted us out. But I do have to say, I think Bournemouth were very lucky in their third goal, because it was definitely a foul leading up to that goal, and it probably really, in all fairness, should have gone to a replay. But I'm not bitter because I kind of knew that was going to happen. So we are in a pickle, though, in the league. I watched the Watford game the other day, and we actually played really, really well. It was just 2 moments of, Jake Livermore scored 2 goals for Watford, which, I mean, I didn't even know he was playing for Watford for the start. The first one was an absolute worldie from outside the box. He didn't even miss it too hard. He just bent it round everybody into the side net, and it was a fantastic goal. The second one was a bit fortunate, but we should have got something out of that game. We played really, really well, and that's the frustrating thing. I think they're playing really good football. They're not playing like a relegation team. We're just not getting the rub of the green. We're just not getting the little bit of luck that you need. So I think we've got a bit of a problem. We've got 3 or 4 games coming up that we need to get 9 points out of. Otherwise, I think we're probably looking at the drop. I think the stats say that the 4 times we've been relegated before, we've had more points than we have now this season. So it's not looking good. I just think we need a little bit of luck. We need to put a little run together, get a couple of 3 wins together that'll give them some incentive to keep pushing. I think if we lose a couple more, their heads will drop, and I think that'll be the kiss of death. So I just want them to pick up a couple of results in the next few games and give them a little bit of a boost, because otherwise I am afeared for our future this season. And if we hit League One, I think that's bye-bye for a good 4, 5, 6 years probably. Which
you reckon?
Well, when you get into those leagues, it's so difficult. Yeah, you look at some of the teams that are in League One, for Christ's sake. You know, Derby, Blackpool, they've all been prem sides of recent years. Fingers crossed we can turn it around.
Fair enough. Well, we'll take a breath of mourning for QPR.
Yeah, just take
moving on. Yeah.
If anyone actually cares.
Come back to you, Ollie, then, mate, if you don't mind. We'll stop the Man v Fat stuff. So I'm quite intrigued, because obviously you were around before me, so you and Ben obviously go back a bit. But how did you get involved in Man v Fat to begin with? Where did you start? Where does your story start?
So I joined because of my illustrious captain on the pod here. Ironically, we were sacked almost a year ago, pretty much, I think, at my son's birthday party, stuffing our face full of cake. And we got chatting about it, and I'd been umming and ahhing with it for a while, to be honest, because I got to a point that I think it was would it have been last Christmas? Yeah, last Christmas, I think. I went to my son's football Christmas party, and I saw a picture of myself, and quite frankly, I was disgusted. Like, I looked at myself and thought, what an absolute whopper. You've made a fool of yourself here, mate. I wasn't one to, back then, I wasn't one that, I didn't weigh myself. And it's never really, my weight's never really bothered me. I've always been a big lad. I always have been.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're quite a tall man, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm 6'4", I've always been big anyway, My weight's never been a thing for me. It's never bothered me. So I never weighed myself. And then, but, you get that thing, if you don't weigh yourself for a while, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm around this, because you remember what you weighed when you were 16. Mm-hmm. And I've stepped on the scales, and I was about 25 kilos heavier than I thought I was. And I was a bit like, oh, shit. So, yeah, and then, like I said, I toyed with it for a while, but it was one of those things, do I do it? I don't know anyone, same old thing, isn't it? I think a lot of people are in the same boat. But then, like I say, we got chatting with Ben, and that was it. He sort of wrote me down. I've never looked back, really.
And what an addition you've been, mate.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like
so if you joined about a year ago, then I actually must predate you, unbelievably.
Yeah. So funnily enough, I was having this conversation with with Ryan the other day, and he went, I have been here a year, first week of February last year I started,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ryan went...
You just feel like...
Yeah, well, that's exactly what Ryan said. He was like, you haven't been here a year or something? No, I haven't. Sort of,
You came in at the end of our Reds team, didn't you? Because you came in to watch.
I did one season with the Reds.
I think you took Tim's spot. Was it you and James joined at the same time? Tim and Mark left.
Yeah, so I think James took Tim's spot and I took Mark's, essentially.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I did a season with the Reds and then been with the Mighty Blues ever since. But,
Quadruple winning Blues. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, lads. Yeah, amazing. Okay, I didn't realise it had been a year anyway, almost a year. So, how has that year been for you? How have you been going? Because I know that you've obviously done well for some of that. So, where did you start? Where are you at now?
Full of trials and tribulations. So I started off a little bit hit and miss, probably like a lot of people really. When I was with the Reds, it was one of them. Turned up, I'd lose a kilo here, I'd lose a kilo, I'd put on a kilo. You fluttered for that season. I would say I think I lost about I probably came out that season 2 kilos lighter, maybe, because like I say, I put some on, I lost some, I put some on. And then since I've been a blue, in all honesty, something, clicked in my head, and I've been on it ever since. And I've lost, like we said earlier, I've lost 34 kilos now.
Which is immense, by the way.
Yeah.
It's insane. It is insane.
To put it in perspective, I was 144.2 when I started, and as of last Friday, I was 111 kilos.
Mate, that's amazing.
Wow.
That's nuts.
Well, just to give you an idea, by the way, I was 126 when I started.
Yeah.
Last week, I weighed in at 115, and that's the heaviest I've been since season 1 that I joined.
Well done,
it's down though, mate. It's down.
No, I know it's down. I know it's down, but my point is, I'm heavier than you, and I've been here longer than you have. So you've lost twice as much weight as I have, comfortably. By the way, that's not to belittle myself. It's just to say that's amazing. That is really incredible.
It's it's been a journey. Like going. We want to go down the backstory route of the whole
34 kilos. Yeah, go on.
Give us the backstory.
A few of not my team know this, but a few people know. So I played rugby at a high standard I played rugby all my life. I was a rugby player. I'm not a footballer. Never have been. I've always played football. I used to play 11-a-side when I was in my teenager with my mates, but it was always just I enjoyed playing football. Whereas rugby was always my bread and butter. So I was always bigger, but I was a healthy bigger, if that makes sense, because I was on training programs, especially when I was in my teenage years. I was playing. I played for Bournemouth first team for most of my teens, and then I was playing county rugby. I then joined. Technical word. I got scouted, and I joined Richmond. Played for Richmond. For those that don't know anything about rugby, it's Championship rugby.
Very good.
Very good.
And I was with them for nearly 3 years, but that's where it all took a bit of a turn, unfortunately. So when my first season there, I was about 3 months in, and I tore my ACL. And to put it in perspective, then I was about 105 kilos ish then.
Wow.
Like when I was at my fittest, And over that course of that time, I ballooned up. I put on about 15 kilos while I was injured. I then came back for pre-season the following season. Richmond were really good. They kept me. They rehabbed me. I managed to get that weight down back to where I was. I played almost a full season that season. Then I tore my MCL.
Oh, mate.
Same. It's the same knee.
Same knee. Yeah. I'm not going to tell people what knee it is, just in case.
There aren't anyone that don't know.
So I did that, and that was really the straw that broke the camel's back, if you like. So that put me out, and Richmond released me then. I was lucky. I managed to do my rehab with them still. They were really good, to be fair, but I just couldn't get fit enough, and I couldn't keep up anymore. Basically I left then, working day to day, doing my job, because Richmond I wasn't a full-time rugby player.
Yeah.
It was only still part-time, so I was still working, obviously. But then I went back, and then I just came back down. I was playing at my local club in Ringwood. And then I was 3 months into the season there. And I got tackled quite hard. And I had a pain down in my lower abdomen. And I was just like, this is a bit odd. So, a bit queer here. Anyway, that progressively got worse as the evening went on. And by about midnight at night, I was in the back of an ambulance on the way to Bournemouth Hospital. So my bowel perforated.
Jesus.
So long story short, again, a few people know. So I'm going into a bit deep here, but it's all good. There's all a bit of
whatever you're willing to say, mate. Yeah.
Well, and it's good for people. I want people to know, because it helps people, sort of thing. I've got Crohn's disease, which I've had, which is inflammation of the bowel, which I got diagnosed when I was 12. Had it all, so ever since, essentially. But anyway, so that's what that led to the perforation. It was all just a build up, and that last tackle I had was the icing on the cake, so to speak, with that. So then I was in hospital for some time, very poorly, not very well. I had to have a section of my bowel removed. I got septicemia. Shit time, to say the least.
Yeah.
I went from being on top of the world, having the best time of my life, going to Richmond, living quite literally my dream and, what a lot of people would dream of doing, to then my life, to going the arse end of it on its head. So basically I came out of hospital. I lost a significant amount of weight in hospital, obviously, because I was ill. But from there onwards, I basically went into a bit of what I'd say is a spiral of depression, really. It was never diagnosed. I never saw a doctor about it because I'm a man, we don't see doctors.
Yeah.
But just drinking, smoking, eating shit, and that's where it all just went from there, really. I never stepped foot on a rugby pitch again. It was only till recently I said to Ben and Tim Greenwood, who's in our team as well, about the other week I went up to Richmond for a Christmas party this year, and that's the first time I've been there since I left 12, 13 years ago. Because I just couldn't do it. I couldn't face it, couldn't face going,
Where are you at with that now, dude? Have you have you buried those sort of ghosts, or are they still?
A lot of it, I think. I think going up there this year was a big thing, because personally I feel this leads back to the weight thing again, and it's it was that thing of I'm going back to that club nearly 40 kilos heavier than when I left.
Yeah.
And there was still a lot of people there that I knew, the chairman, some of my old coaches, old players, we were all there because it was a vet's Christmas party, and unfortunately, only been in my 30s, but I am classed as a veteran now. It was that thing in the head of, fucking hell, I don't want people to see me like this, do you know what I mean? Yeah, but actually, it was probably the best decision I ever did, because it was like you say, burying those ghosts. Gone, I went in there and it was like breath of fresh air. Everyone, nobody gave a toss.
No,
nobody gave a shit.
I don't. I think we do that. I guess about it. Yeah, we put pressure on ourselves, don't we? And we kind of put words into other people's mouths about how they're going to feel, and unless you put yourself in that situation, you don't really know, and then you realise that people actually don't see you like that at all.
No.
And it kind of takes a whole load of pressure and weight off your shoulders, and
I think sometimes, I mean, just from personal experience, I think sometimes when you can get yourself to a stage mentally where you say yes and you do it, and you get over that hump. I have never been in a situation where I have said yes, gone and done it, and come back feeling worse. I've always felt loads better.
Yeah,
because inevitably it's in my own head, inevitably. I haven't seen someone for 4 years. I'm, 20, 30 kilos heavier. I go to see them and, it never comes up, or even if it does, it's never frowned upon. It's just kind of things and brilliant. And then, exactly. And then I go away thinking, what the hell was I thinking about? Why was I so concerned about it? So for you, I understand this is a bit bigger than that, but if I'm just saying from...
No. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is a lot of these things, with your weight and everyone builds it up so much in their own head. And 9 times out of 10, like you just said, Josh, people don't care. The ones that do care, the ones that you can tell, well, fuck off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
They care because they're like family and close friends, and they just want
that's different,
to be healthy, and
the ones that sit there and the judge. friends, if you like. I've had it over the years, and you just think, bollocks to you, I haven't got time for you. Anyway, the ones that just true ones that care don't care. that makes sense.
So coming back to Man v Fat Dude, it must have been quite a big thing for you to step out on the football pitch, because if you'd not done, because I don't think you had you? You hadn't played. I know you're involved in coaching your son and his team, but I don't think you'd actually played a sport for a while when you joined Man v Fat, had you?
No. So when like I said, the last time I stepped foot on a rugby pitch was back when my bowel perforated, and that was the last and that was probably about 10 years ago now, if not a bit longer actually. My timescale's all messed up, to be fair. It was at least 10 years. I haven't done anything, no sport whatsoever.
So it was a big thing coming down and getting involved.
Yeah, massively. It was like I say, it was a massive mental thing as well. Mm-hmm. And like I say, I will be honest, if it wasn't for, hate to blow your trumpet, Ben, but if it wasn't for you, I probably never would have actually done it. I'll be honest, because when I first started, I was still in that mindset of, it's a classic, isn't it? Everyone does it. You go, I can lose the weight. It's fine. It's all right. I'll have a bit of cake. I can lose it. It's fine. You don't. You sit there and you pile it on. Yeah. The next thing you know, you're 40 kilos heavier. Do you know what I mean? It becomes a vicious. I imagine there's a lot of people at Man vs Fat that are exactly the same. Yeah. And that's why they've joined. And I can honestly say, Man vs Fat has changed my life without fail.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Like I say, and it gives you that little bit of. It's not just the football or losing the weight. It's the meeting the people and the camaraderie we've all got. And I've met some people here that I would class as good friends now. Do you know what I mean? Me and Ben are slightly different because we knew each other outside of football. But I would say particularly for myself, I'm quite close to like Ryan and Neil. I would class them as friends now. Ryan obviously more like a brother, very much younger brother.
Child. More like a child.
Yeah, I'd say more of a
safeguarding concerns, lads. Safeguarding concerns,
sorry,
lads.
So I wouldn't just do it, for anybody that, listens that doesn't do it, because they listen through friends or whatever. I'll say if you're thinking about it, it's not just about the weight loss or the football. It's about the team spirit we've got, the people you meet along the way, and, everyone helps each other the whole time. That's the thing I love about it as well.
Well, I just think, personally, it's what most people struggle with when they go to lose weight is the mental block, isn't it? It's the mentality. As simply as you were saying, Ollie, it's a switch in your head, and that's how it does. And I just think having as wholesome and as encouraging community around you makes that switch in your head much easier.
Yeah, 100%.
Or rather, you get there quicker. You know what I mean? Or you. At least that's what I believe it to be. Obviously, I haven't quite got there yet, but I know that where I want to be fully. But I know I will make that because of this community, as an example. So,
definitely. I think with a lot of people, I think it takes that one moment for people. With me, I couldn't tell you specifically what it was, but I do remember, like I say, that picture of that Christmas. But then I still had that first season with the Reds that I didn't really lose the weight. I don't know if I just didn't take it seriously enough. I don't really know. It's a bit of an odd one, really. But then, like I say, like Ben just mentioned, I coach my son's football. And I just remember, trying to run after them. They're only 8 they are now. Running after them, I'm blowing out my arse. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I'm not 70 years old, but I felt like it.
Yeah.
I think that was the turning point for me, really.
So what do you reckon you've done? How do you think you've achieved it? You said there was a bit of a switch and it clicked and you suddenly figured out what you needed to do. So what's your secret?
I don't know, really. I mean, I had this conversation with Neil, funnily enough, a few weeks back. He won't mind me saying, back at the beginning of the season, he was struggling. He's lost a fair bit of weight, same as you, Ben, I know, and you stagnate. You get to a point where you can't get going again.
Yeah.
And I remember just having a conversation with him, and I was just saying, I set myself little goals, little targets is what I started with. Mm-hmm. Whether that be, right, I want to lose 5 kilos by the end of this season, or I want to hit my next milestone, or, set your own personally, I say set targets. Your own goals.
Yeah.
Don't always rely on
look at the long one.
Yeah, 100%. I don't always rely on those goals that Man versus Fat or Steve sets you. Set your own goals, because everyone's got their own rhyme and reason for doing this. Whether that's your kids, whether it's your own health, whether it's you just want to be a bit fitter, you want to lose a little bit of weight. Everyone's got their own goals. So, just set your own goals and aim for that. Once you've got there, go for the next one.
Yeah.
But don't try and go, I need to lose 50 kilos to hit maintenance, because that's just nonsense.
Yeah.
You might do that, but that's not going to be in a year, 2 years down the line, Yeah, and that's worked for me, in all honesty. I've just set those little targets, little goals, and then I've moved the goalpost every time that little bit further, if you like.
But you're really focused. I've seen a change in you from when, like you say, from when you first started to where you are now. And I've watched the journey from sort of where my position, and it's been brilliant to watch. You kind of the way you started, and then you kind of got into it, and it's now become not an obsession. Maybe that's too strong a word, but you are focused.
Yeah.
You are totally focused, and you are driven to achieve what it is you're trying to achieve. And it's been brilliant to watch that transition of you from when you first started to where you are now. In fact, you are more, I would say now, you are more of a driving force on that for the Blues than I am, because you are so focused and so sort of intent on getting to your little targets for this team, where you're really driving that kind of narrative through our captaincy and vice captaincy for the guys. And it's brilliant to watch. And I just want to take the opportunity to say it's been an absolute pleasure, mate, to have you. And I think you're absolutely smashing it. And I want you to achieve what you've set your goals to be by the end of this season, but even by the end of next season. So just keep doing it, dude, because you're an inspiration, honestly. And I think it's fantastic. So well done, mate.
Yeah. I can only echo what Ben said. Obviously, I don't know you quite as well, but there's nothing else I can say.
No, like incredible. I say, guys, it's everyone. As I said, everyone's got their. I hate to sound like Steve. Sorry, Steve. I know you listen. But it is a lifestyle change. It's not. Yeah. We've all been there. I can guarantee if I spoke to every single player at Man vs. Fat, they have all tried a fad diet. They have all tried just going to the gym. They've all, it's a lifestyle change, not a diet.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the way that is, I'll tell you what, that's my biggest thing that I had to get into my head. That is what changed my mind, I think, my mindset about it.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right.
As soon as you get that it's not a diet, it is a lifestyle change, I think it changes everything. Personally, I think it changes everything.
Yeah, because people can get really tied up on it being a diet. So you have to be on a diet, and people are always on a diet, and it's not that. You're right. Yes, of course, there are diet implications, but ultimately, yes, it's about lifestyle. It's about the way that you perceive yourself, and it's not just diet. It's not just exercise. It's mental health. It's what makes you happy. What makes you get out of bed in the morning. And as you do start to make the changes, you start to feel the changes. We've spoken about it before, the way you feel more energized, the way you feel more, you want to get out of bed in the morning. It's like you want to get up off the couch and go and do something. You've got that sort of revitalized feeling about yourself. And it's getting that focus, it's getting that understanding that it's not just about not having the extra couple of beers or not having the half a bottle of wine or not eating the mince pie or whatever. You can still do those things as long as you do the other stuff. And again, I was having a conversation with Steve the other day and Steve was very much like, it's about what you eat. And I agree. It's not all about exercise. It's a balance. It's got to be a balance, and it's got to be what works for you. And making those small steps, making those small changes to get towards something different. But you do have to be actively thinking about what you can change and how you want to change it in order to be able to do it. It's not going to happen on its own. But I think you're absolutely right about the not wanting to go for, I've got to lose 50 kilos to hit maintenance. It's about, okay, this season I'm going to lose 5 kilos and next season I'll lose another 5 kilos. if you do it like that, bite-sized chunks, I think you've got much more chance of succeeding.
Yeah.
So what is your ultimate target, Ols? Where do you see yourself getting to with Man v Fat?
Funny enough, we were having this conversation the other week with the team. Do you know what? My ultimate goal was always, if you go in old English money, was always 16 stone.
To get to 16 stone, yeah.
That was always my aim at the very beginning of this, because I was like, I remember being 16 stone when I was fit, And then as you get closer to that goal, that changes.
All right.
My ultimate goal now is I want to try and hit maintenance.
Okay. And what weight do you need to get to maintenance?
92.8 kilos.
Crikey. And when did you last weigh that?
Probably when I was in the womb. I'll be honest, I couldn't tell you the last time I weighed that.
And how far off that are you?
Well, I'm now about 18.5 kilo away.
Wow. Okay. So
you're still a fair way off.
Yeah, but you're 2/3 of the way.
Yeah.
In a year.
Yeah.
So you reckon by this time next year you'll be there?
I may get it, I may not. But again, that is not the short-term goal. That is a long-term dream.
Yeah.
I just take it, as I said, I've got my little targets, but the problem is with the problem. When you get these goals, when you hit a milestone, you then hold on a minute. You're getting ever so closer to your target or to the next milestone or to maintenance, So all of a sudden seems possible.
Yeah.
I never thought when I first started this, I never thought in a million years I would even be having the conversation about getting anywhere near maintenance. So, ultimately now, yes, I would like to get down there. Stay there is a different matter. Because, I may get there and go, I look unhealthy here. I don't like this.
Oh, well, thanks for that, Ollie, again. Can't say enough,
mate.
really.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, we'll move on. We've got some football you want to discuss?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll straight into it. But you wanted to bring up something, Ben, didn't you, about, was it Saudi-related things? In regards to, or in particular, one person.
Well, there's been a little conversation today on the WhatsApp group about a certain person, and I think we should just talk about it and how what sort of the situation with it and how we feel about it, and from various points of view. So obviously, it's the Henderson conversation, and will Jordan Henderson be in the England setup for the Euros? And a lot of people think, well, yes. I mean, that's basically the answer is that yes, he probably will be because he has been a part of Southgate's plans over the last few years, and he's maintained that he is a big character within the team. He's a big character in the dressing room. But the argument, of course, is should he be there on playing merit, or should we have players there, younger players who are coming through the ranks, who are potentially, in better form, playing for bigger clubs, better clubs? And the answer probably to that is yes, but I think we need to look at the picture of the whole scenario. It's not as easy as should he be there or shouldn't he be there. I think we need to look at it from the different angles of why he probably will be there.
I think it'll be a case of, if you knew that Jordan Henderson was going, but you also knew he was going to play very few minutes. Mm-hmm. Would you mind? Would you really be that bothered? Like, really?
Yeah.
I don't think so. And I would say you wouldn't, purely because he's not going to get much minutes. He's there as a squad. He's there to help the squad.
Yeah.
As a group.
Yeah.
And we all know you take 23 or 26 players, you're not going to play. They're not all going to play.
No,
in fact,
of course they're not.
Probably 15 of them will play regular minutes, and the rest aren't going to get anywhere near it, are they? So it's just, So I don't see how I don't think it matters to me.
Well, I mean, I'm very much from the camp that I believe that Southgate has built his, and I know we've talked about it before, and I'll go on about it again, but I believe that he's built a group of players, and he's got a group of players together to play as a team, similar to how you would set up a club team and got them playing as a team. I know he did kind of cock up from the beginning, say he wants to choose players that are playing for their clubs, and he wants to choose players that are playing who are in form, etc., etc. But the reality is, you can't. No one in their right mind is going to look at the Premier League clubs and say, or any club for that matter, and go, who's the best English player in that team? We'll put them all together, and they should go out and win everything. They've tried that before. They tried to do that before, and it didn't work. We had all these amazingly talented players on the pitch who couldn't play together as a team. So Southgate has got a team that are playing together as a team. I think ultimately you can look at the individual players and say perhaps some of them maybe shouldn't be there, or on merit because they're not playing for their club regularly, or you don't think they're particularly good, but they do perform well as a team. And I know I mentioned it earlier on the chat, but I think that Southgate's this will be his last tournament, and I think this will be his swan song, and I think he has been working towards this. This was always the long-term goal. I think ultimately the way we've done in the last few tournaments was a bit, there was some luck involved there. I don't think that was the goal. I think the goal was to turn up at this tournament. And I think that's what he's been building towards. And I think probably Hendo will be a part of that. The fact he buggered off to Saudi for a shed load of money, he doesn't like it now, and now he's going to go wherever he goes just to try and get back, or to legitimise, if you like, his place in the England squad. I think that's by the by. And it's like I said earlier, regardless of what happens, those types of players, when Southgate goes, will not be involved in the future England squad. That's when you'll see a real turning of the tide. That's when you'll see new, younger players coming through, and there will be a big mix-up, and a lot of what you would deem now as first-team squad members won't get anywhere near it. It'll be a complete different team that rocks out to the next qualifier. And that's when people can go, oh, that person deserves to be in there, or that person should be in there, etc., etc. So, yes, I agree that he probably shouldn't be there on merit, but I also think that he will be because of the way that Southgate has set his teams up over the last few years. But going on to the larger thing about Saudi, is it a good option for players? I think it's starting to surface that it probably isn't. Because you were saying, who else has come out? Benzema's now saying he doesn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah,
and this is just the beginning, right? There'll be untold players now that come forward and go, do you know what? I ain't doing this anymore. I think
it is a fantastic option, like you said earlier.
Well,
for the players that are coming to the end of their careers.
Yeah,
If I was 30, if I was 33, 34, and you're going to offer me flipping $400,000 a week, I'm on the next plane.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you can understand why players in their end of their career do it.
But I think with Hendo, that's the problem. That's why people have got the ump, is because he went out there saying, I'm not going for the money. He's a full supporter of, LGBTQ rights and all this. That's why people have got the hump.
Yeah.
If he'd gone, I'm going out there for the money, everyone would be like, right, fair enough, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's right. I think that's the issue. I do genuinely think that is the underlying problem.
Yeah, that's kind of unspoken, though, isn't it? You're going out to Saudi for the money.
Yeah, of course it is. We all know that. We're not thick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But these footballers, unfortunately, think we believe every word they say.
Yeah.
And because he's come out and gone, oh, yeah, I'm not going for the money, you're like, yeah, all right. Yeah. It's like when Ronaldo did it. Come on. I'm sorry, but the reason he went out there was because he wasn't wanted anywhere else, and he wants to cash in. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, sorry, get off track there.
Fair enough.
It's no different though, is it? Well, it's like the modern China. There was a time when, well, even America, when the MLS kind of there was a thing of people were chasing money, going over there. It's an easy payday. Go to America or go to China. It happened, didn't it? There was a few teams in China. That seems to have gone off the boil. But go to China, earn an absolute shed load of cash, and then come back the next year, much better off. There's always that. You can't blame players for doing it, but I do get a bit confused about the sort of players who are still in their prime, as it were, going over there. I think that says a lot about character, more than the players that are at the end of their careers. So,
Well,
I don't mean that.
Just going back to the England thing.
Yeah, go on.
it's now got to a stage where England should be winning. At least that seems to be the prevailing theory, isn't it? That even the bookies are saying England it should be winning, as the favourites.
I think they should have won
anything less than that.
We've been here before, though, haven't we?
But we've not.
That's my point.
But you can go back to the England side of the sort of late 90s, early into the mid 2000s of that era of team, and but that's what I'm talking about when you had a team of outstanding players that never really played as a team.
Yeah,
Gerrard,
well, I was thinking we
etc.
It's funny. 04. If Rooney wasn't injured in 04, that's the prevailing theory in it. Then we would have won that, or should have won that. But that's the last time I can see, apart from the last two tournaments, where I think England have even been close.
Yeah,
it's not like they've had poor squads.
No, no, not at all.
Or 96, for example. So we get there, once every decade or so, every couple, So we'll see.
English, aren't we? They get our hopes up, and then we all become miserable. And
yeah, but I find it absolutely hilarious that people fall for it every single tournament, every tournament.
But we all do it.
And it just
every single one of us does it, don't we?
I got to be honest, right? I got to be honest. I genuinely thought we would win. We'd win the Euros. When we got to the final.
I thought we were going to win it. Yeah.
I thought we were going to beat Italy, but you know
what? We were 1-0 up inside 5 minutes.
You know what? I knew. We had, as soon as Trippier scored that goal in that final, I knew we were going to lose that final because we don't know how to. We don't know how to close out a game.
Luke Shaw, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Shaw scored that one, didn't he?
Yeah.
You just had an absolute. It's like, sorry, so going back to the Trippier was against in the Croatia game, right? The tournament before, in the semi-final. Yeah. We scored too early. We don't know how to go on and win a game. You're going to go 1-0 up and they don't know what to do. They don't know if to go on and score some more or try and sit on that 1-0 win. And that is about the manager. That's about the psychology that Southgate has from a defensive point of view. He's about protecting a lead when actually we play better, or I think England, the current England squad certainly plays better when they're all-out attack. Because we've got a plethora of attacking players that teams just cannot handle.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a coach or a manager, but I would assume that if you're trying to protect a lead, the best thing you can do is put the team under more pressure.
Yeah.
The other team under more pressure. Yeah. Not give them initiative. Isn't that basically?
I think he bottled it in both those games. I think he bottled it in that semi-final, and I think he bottled it in that final. I think they didn't have a plan. They didn't have a plan once they were 1-0 up. It was like, shit, what do we do? Do we carry on attacking, or do we try and defend this? And they didn't know, and they gradually fell to bits. And when it went to extra time with Croatia, you knew they were going to score. And Italy as well. You just know the Italians. You know what they're like. You can just, and that's from a 48 years as an England fan being permanently disappointed.
And a QPR fan.
Well, just imagine my life, right? Imagine how depressing it is to be an England and a QPR supporter.
Well, yeah. I did want to ask you quickly about the squad. So I've got a list of players, loads.
Go on.
That could, in theory, make it. Well, I don't think they'll make it into this, by the way. It's more just asking you guys what you think. Not necessarily about their prospects maybe not this tournament, but I think they should be maybe in the conversation. So we know, for example, goalkeepers-wise, Pickford, he's like the number one. He's going to be number one. That's not changing a team.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he'll be usurped by a new manager? He comes in, as in he picks either of the following. So we've got Dean Henderson.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's going to make it. Nick Pope, maybe. Yeah. Ramsdale.
Yeah.
If you can get game time. Who's been in the team? Sam Johnson.
Yeah, there's another one there. Yeah.
He's been in the team. Fraser Forster, maybe even.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even, I guess, for future, James Trafford, maybe.
Yeah.
Long term. Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think the three are going, by the way? I assume he's taking three, so...
I don't think he'll change. I think it will be Pico. I think Pickford... this, again, it's a similar situation with the Hendo Maguire situation. I think he's been part of the core of his team, and I think Pickford. And you can't deny that Pickford is a good keeper. He's a great shot stopper.
Pickford's one, and I'm not worried about that. It's more about who else do you take alongside him.
I think Ramsdale
so if he was
goes, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Ramsdale and Pope
playing.
Ramsdale and Pope. I know he's not been playing, but you can't. Why is he not playing?
Well, Pope's injured, so he won't be playing for a while. He won't be playing until almost the eve of the tournament, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Ramsdale.
Okay, so he might not go then.
Ramsdale's not playing at all, basically, at the moment.
I think Ramsdale will still go. I can't see him dropping it. I can't see him not taking it.
No.
Yeah.
I think, like I say, Pope, it all depends on Pope if he's fit. If he's not fit, I think Hendo goes. To be honest,
he might be there. Yeah.
Okay.
I personally think he's the right choice, but I think that's what it would.
Well, who would be now? If Pickford was injured, who do you have in goal? Who would you have?
Pope if he's fit.
If Pope if he's fit, but Ramsdale will be the choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go to the back line then. Walker, Maguire, Shaw, Stones, Trippier. We think are all going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Assuming Shaw's fit, obviously, I assume he goes.
Yeah.
Trippier's going for versatility.
Yeah.
Stones, Maguire are number one.
Are you putting Trent in the back? In the back?
No, I've got Trent as midfield listed.
Now.
But,
okay.
Yeah. So then I've got other people who have been around. So Ben Chilwell, he stays fit.
He's just coming
I think
back,
he
isn't
probably
he?
goes.
Yeah.
Then Connor Cody, maybe. Don't know if he goes too much now.
Maybe
he might be on the fence.
Yeah, he's another similar Hendo character, though, isn't he? He's got a lot of gravity within the team. He's got quite a lot of respect. I know he hasn't got a huge amount of caps in that, but he's one of those characters in the dressing room that is a good guy to have around. So maybe, yeah.
Carwell,
Chelsea.
Yeah, he might. I think he might be on the plane. To be honest,
Gay, I think, is probably
he's playing here.
A shoe-in, is he?
Eric Dyer.
Oh, for God's sake.
No, I don't think Eric's there.
Even playing for Bayern. Lewis Dunk.
Maybe.
Come on, Lewis Dunk.
Maybe.
He might be go.
I think he'll be on the plane, Lewis Dunk.
Yeah.
He Reece James if he's fit.
James if he's fit, but he's so injury prone, isn't he? Christ, I mean, that boy is some player, but can he stay fit? No.
Yeah.
That must be so upsetting for him.
So, some recent ones, Tyreek Mitchell. He's probably not too bad a shout, but Mark Gahey.
Gahey, I think, is probably a shoe-in, mate, you know. He's played a lot, hasn't he? Yeah, well, he's played a lot. He's been picked the last few games.
Okay, so, yeah, you're probably right. He probably is a shoe-in. I've got Tyrone Mings listed.
Well, he was getting there, wasn't he? I think the fact he's been injured all season will probably go against him this season.
Yeah. Ben White.
Yeah.
He's a maybe.
On the fence. Tomori. Vico Tomori.
Can't see him going this year.
I can't see him going to this one. No.
Yeah.
He probably won't for the future.
Then you've got people like Rico Lewis.
Yeah, definitely one for the future.
Yeah. Walker Peters, maybe. Something like that. Yeah. Ezri Konsa from Aston Villa.
Well, he's having a good season, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes, he is.
So a lot of people would say he should be on the plane.
Yeah.
But has he been involved in any first team games recently?
I don't think if he's been involved in England, but Villa obviously has.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. He's not been in the England setup, has he? So I don't think we're at a point where Southgate's just going to introduce a load of potential new squad members.
Yeah.
I just can't see it. I just cannot see it.
Yeah, Branthwaite is a one for the future, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Everton centre-back. And you mentioned Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
If I was going to say we need to defend, we need a one-on-one defender, I'd take Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, totally.
Because I think he genuinely, I mean this, and it's not as a Man United fan, it's serious. I think he's genuinely one of the best one-on-one defenders in the world. I'm not joking. I genuinely believe that. I think. I mean, we've seen him play against Mbappe, and Mbappe's had no luck, and people like that, against him.
True.
So it's not like.
That's true.
So.
I think the only thing that goes against Wan-Bissaka, to be fair, is the other part of his game that.
Every other part of his game.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't got it, has he? If he's there for one reason only, fine, take him. But
no, I don't think he goes. I just and there's probably others I'm missing in the back as well. Like I can't think of at the moment, and he probably deserve a shout. But midfield wise, Bellingham, he's obviously the number one.
Yeah.
Rice.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to assume that Trent and Gallagher will go in the midfield.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Gallagher, I've got to be honest.
I think Hendo, we've just talked about Hendo, so he's probably going. Mason Mount.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one because, again, he has been a part of that kind of Gareth Southgate England squad over the years, but is he injured at the moment, or is he just not getting into the team? Is he injured?
No, he's injured.
So, of all the positions, ironically, Southgate has been quicker to drop midfield options. So I don't know.
Yeah. There's too many to get ahead of him, I think.
Yeah.
Ward-Prowse will probably. Ward-Prowse.
He's got to go, isn't he?
Yeah, but this is another one. I've said, I'm well,
he's always been on the fence, and people are unhappy about that.
Yeah, totally. Because
he's,
he's clearly a world-class talent, but why is he not getting involved? And he's one for me that when Southgate goes, he's a shoo-in for me.
Yeah.
He's got to get game time in there because of the style of player that he is.
Well, I think the next one, Calvin Phillips, I think he goes. Regardless.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I think he goes. I even think he plays. I think he goes.
I think you're absolutely right because he does the exact job that Southgate wants him to do.
Yeah. Then I've got people who. So I put Trent in the middle, by the way. I've struggled for names on the midfielders list, but maybe it's because there's so many of them forwards.
Yeah, that's it. They kind of cross over, don't they?
Names that have come up recently. Mainu for Man United. I think he's too young. He's not getting anywhere near it, but he's obviously looked pretty good. Jacob Ramsey at Villa.
Yeah.
No one potentially. Curtis Jones.
Yes.
Not sold.
Fair enough. Yeah.
He's doing really well though, isn't he? And he's getting regular game time at Liverpool, and he's really highly rated there. So maybe one for the future.
Yeah. Forwards. As I say, that was my list for midfielders. I have mainly based on what they're selected as because the forwards list is
that's crazy, isn't it?
Insane.
Yes. Yeah.
So Kane, Saka, Grealish, Foden, I think are all going.
Yep.
I think we can say that for a fact.
Yeah.
Rashford, I would assume he goes.
Yes, I would too.
Yeah. Someone I'd like to see go, Jared Bowen.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
He's having
I don't know if he will though.
Well. He's been in. He has been in the squad. So
yeah, only the most recent one though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Madison. He's going, isn't he? There's no way he's not going now. He's in. He's staying there.
Is he? Yeah. Where's he at with his injury? Because he's been out for a lot of the season.
He'll be back. He'll be back in the next couple of weeks. As for what I'm hearing, anyway. So
yeah, he's got to go.
Madison, assuming he's go.
Yeah.
Then there's a massive list. So we got Watkins. I think he's got to go.
He's got to go.
Like he's the number 2, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the other 3 forwards I've got listed as in 9s. Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
He might. Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
Dominic Solanke, although I don't think he'll go, but he's on the list for me.
He's got to be on the radar, hasn't he?
I assume we're going to say Kane, Watkins, and either one of Toney or Wilson.
Yeah, I'd love it to be Toney. I just don't think it will be based on what's happened this year.
Yeah.
But saying that, he was called up, and if he starts playing for Brentford and banging in hat-tricks every week, which he's quite likely to do, you never know. Could well be.
Well, I've just thought of someone else who's been playing again now, Calvert-Lewin. He's been playing again now.
Yeah.
Again, he can't stay fit, but he's been playing quite a bit.
I'd be surprised if he goes. I'd be surprised with the other options that are there.
But
Eze as well. We missed
Tammy
Eze.
Abraham.
Tammy Abraham.
No, I'm going through them, mate. I'm still getting there.
Sorry.
Tammy Abraham.
Yeah.
Eze, as you mentioned.
Yes, brilliant.
I'm not sure he's going. But...
I don't think he'll go, but he is an absolute for the next generation. He is there. He's like 100%. For me. He is the future of the future England team, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
he is quality.
Absolutely agree. Two that I don't think will go, but have been listed: Nketiah and Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe probably won't go anywhere near it, but Nketiah maybe. Sterling, which mentions.
It's a difficult.
I always thought
he loves Sterling, doesn't he? But he hasn't been in the squad.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
he loves him though, and he does turn up for England. He's a bit like Maguire, I suppose, in the fact that
I don't understand why he hasn't been in the squad though.
No, it's an odd one, isn't it? There was rumour that it was about him, that what happened after his house got broken into, wasn't it? The way that it was handled after that there was some kind of, I won't say argument, I don't think it was an argument, but disagreement about how that was how he handled it, or how that situation was handled. Because I get the impression around England squad that they don't suffer fools gladly. So if something happens and someone behaves in a way that they don't deem to be appropriate or whatever, they're literally like, okay, you're out. It's that. Yeah. It's that cutthroat. Which fair rightly enough. Or wrongly, I don't know, but he was always a part of it. And if he does he go, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. Would I prefer to see someone else in front of him? Probably. I think we've got better attacking options at the moment.
I've got two. Yeah, I got a couple others listed. So Sancho. Assume now he's playing at Dortmund. So
see that for me, that all depends on how he performs at Dortmund.
Yeah, I think you're right.
If he all of a sudden finds the form he had that he had there previously, he's in.
Yeah,
I think. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah.
He's been brilliant, but it's probably a bit too soon for him. Now, two other players I have on that list who I personally, and the reason why I left them till last, is because I would take them. I want them in the squad.
Go on.
Drop Mike
Gordon.
Who?
Yeah,
Gordon.
Anthony Gordon.
Yes, and Cole Palmer.
Palmer. The form that boy is in, he's got to go. I'm sorry. It's an absolute outrageous form.
He totally is. Yeah. He's a bit of an anomaly, isn't he? Because I don't understand why City sold him. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't know, but he's single-handedly keeping Chelsea out of the relegation zone at the moment.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I think he's probably on the plane, right? I think he has to be, doesn't he?
Well, I would want him on the plane.
Yeah.
The thing is, I really want Anthony Gordon on the plane.
I don't think
he's going to go. But I considering it's mainly for me, it's not only that he's a very good player, but you can see when he plays with Eddie Howe and that just how much he works, how hard he works.
Yeah.
And though both of those things combined, I think Gareth Southgate will probably be a big fan. I just don't know if he goes.
Well, do you know what? I think one thing is absolutely clear. Whatever happens with this squad and this tournament, there is a outstanding young plethora of players coming through to take over and step in to what will be left behind. I think it's really exciting, the young talent that's coming through.
And also some of the players we've got in the current squad already that are shoo-ins, like your Bellingham, like Saka.
Yeah, they're still so
like that,
young.
Who are going to be there for years. Years and years.
Yeah. You're just going to strengthen that up. It's going to be mental.
Yeah. I probably missed a million other players
you
as well.
would have done, mate,
I was just thinking, what I was going to say to you quickly then, I was going to ask you two both this. If you had to pick one player you think won't go but should be going, who would you say it is?
One that should go that won't be going.
Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, that's probably a shout. Yeah, I think that's probably a shout.
Well, I think he's going to go, so I'm not going to pick.
You think he's going to go?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going.
I think Ward-Prowse will go.
He's only been picked for one squad, and then he didn't play.
Well, maybe I'm being too optimistic.
I think, mate, if he does, I'll be over the moon. But I think he's one. I think you're right. He's one that should go.
I'm going to say this now. I think Cole Palmer won't go, and he should be going. Yeah. I think Cole Palmer won't go.
I can see, I can see that happening, to be fair.
I think you have. I think the way you have to look at it is who would his direct opposition be for replacements within the squad, and you're looking at probably Foden, right?
Grealish and Foden.
Yeah,
Foden and Grealish.
Yeah. So Foden gets in.
Well, it's Foden
gets
Grealish, Rashford,
Palmer, right?
Yeah, Foden, Grealish, Saka, Rashford are like the four.
So I would
wingers.
suggest, you've got Saka
I would
and
say
Rashford.
Saka
and Foden, who fundamentally probably play on the right hand side, which is where you'd put Palmer as well, right? You've got to say that Saka and Foden are in front of Palmer in Southgate's mind. Yeah. So you're probably right. He's one. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Ward-Prowse and Ian Palmer. Yeah, should go.
I actually think I think Gordon has a more chance of going than Palmer does.
Yeah, probably right. Yeah,
because of the side he plays on.
But he's got so much to offer, Palmer. Isn't he?
I know.
Dead balls.
Don't get me wrong.
Free kicks.
I hate it, but yeah.
Penalties.
Well, that's where you want Ward-Prowse.
Trent would be in there as well in that same group of players that do what Palmer does. That's a similar thing.
Yeah, but he's never dropping Trent.
No.
Never in a million years.
No.
To put Palmer in, especially.
Oh, what a conundrum, eh? Oh, to be Gareth Southgate to have to make these decisions.
Yeah.
What an absolute nightmare. You could have 3 England squad, 3 England first team out of all of them players who would equally be as good.
Well, I was going to say he'd probably have one that makes it to the final, one that makes it to the court semis, and one that makes it to the quarters.
Yes, quite possibly. Yeah. Which what position to be in though? I mean, crikey, I can't remember. Yeah. I can't remember so many players. I mean, I've remembered great teams, but not the strength and depth that there is now in all positions. I think probably central defence was slightly could do with a few more options.
Funnily enough, it's funny you should say central defence is the area where we need more options. But I think maybe this is but it's also the one area on the pitch that 3 of the 4 people who are starting at the back. That
if they're fit,
you just know. Stones and Maguire are your back two. It doesn't matter.
And sure, them 3 are starting if they're fit.
Well, no.
And Trippier, probably.
Okay, your back 4 then. You know your back 4.
Yeah.
Walker
as well.
Maguire, Shaw and Stones. Yeah. All 4 of them will play, won't they?
Maguire's first name on that team sheet, mate. Every time.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not against that.
No, I'm not either, ironically. He's always played well for England. He's always played well.
Yeah, exactly.
Always turned up every single time.
I think Kyle Walker is like a shoo-in. I think he's like number also. Like I think I know you two didn't mention it, but I think he is the because of his recovery pace as well.
Yes.
I think he is literally the guy.
And you've got to think this is probably Walker's last tournament.
Yeah. There's a
few.
It is
for a lot of them, to be fair.
There's a few. Yeah.
Well, no, I think Kane will make it to 26. I think.
Yeah, I think he'll milk it. He'll drag it out, won't he?
Well, he's not old.
No, he's not.
What is he? He's 30. It's not like he's. Come on, he's not. He could probably make another 2. Can he play to 34? Yeah. Probably.
He'll play to 34. I would think. I don't know if he'll be first choice.
If he looks after him, so he could probably say 36. So it's like you could make another 3 tournaments.
Yeah, maybe.
And consider how good he is. It's probably worth having. As you say, he might not be first choice in two tournaments' time, but
you're not going to turn it down, are you? If you've got
we were having this conversation in 6 years. Do we take Harry Kane, who's just been to Saudi for 6 months?
Earned £400 million.
Yeah. Anyway, should we leave the England discussion there? Then,
but that was a good discussion. I enjoyed that. Yeah. Thanks, AD, for triggering that one. That was a good combo.
I don't have anything else to chat about this week, lads. Fantasy football we do generally cover, but in light of the fact that it's still the same game week, even this weekend, and the next one's not this weekend, the following weekend.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week.
There isn't much to really discuss.
Oli hates fantasy football anyway. He usually switches off by that point.
Well, in which case, we'll leave it short. The only thing I was going to say for anyone is do not make any transfers. Wait.
No, God, no.
Wait until as close to the deadline as you can get, or at least maybe wait till next Thursday or something, because FA Cup, Carabao, all these stuff.
All sorts of things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Who you might want.
Good.
Okay.
Well, yes. Keep
Wonderful.
watching this space for Fantasy Football. Next week, update. Josh's Fantasy Football Corner. He'll give you all the hot tips.
Yeah.
And then do something completely
Hardly.
different.
I want to stay at the top of the
I like
league.
what you do, Josh. I like you go, you should go for them, you should go for them. And then you look at your team and you haven't done any of them. You've done something completely different. And then you're ironically top of the league.
So he lies to us all.
You know what it is? I did realise that a couple of weeks ago. That I said one thing and did the complete opposite.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's because I get on the Wednesday when we record.
Yeah.
I thought this is the right thing. This is what I'm going to do. But by the time we got to Friday, I'd thought of another better way in my mind to do it.
I know.
You know,
I'm only pulling your leg, mate. We all do that. I do it all the time. Last minute changes.
You know. I'll have to update that chat more instead. Yeah.
I missed the blooming deadline this week, but I think it was probably quite lucky, to be fair. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Cool.
Anyway,
all right.
We'll leave it there, lads.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Ollie, for coming on.
Pleasure.
Genuinely a true inspiration.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
You.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Cheers, boys. Well done, Old. Thanks, mate. Lovely to have you on, buddy, and hear your story. And keep going. Keep up the good work, mate.
Yeah. Indeed. Thanks a lot, lads.
All right, boys.
We'll
take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.